Hi, students. This is a 2D exercise, so we're going to be working with our Bristol board today and adding borders to that Bristol board. Our borders are going to be as follows: a half inch for the top border, 1 inch for the bottom border, 5/8 inches on the two sides, and a quarter of an inch border between each of the 3-inch sections that we will be creating. So let's take a look at our paper and our ruler and get started on measuring.
Let's take a look at how to measure on our ruler. As you can see, we have our centimeters are on the bottom here and our inches are on the top. We're going to be using inches. You can see 1 inch, 2 inch, 3 inch, 4 inch, 5 inch, 6 inch, so forth. On this particular ruler, down here at this edge right here, this particular ruler 0 starts right here at this line, not at the edge of the ruler. You may have a ruler that the edge actually is 0. I like these rulers better because I can actually tell where to put this, especially on the edge of the paper, so that makes it easier. We have 1 inch, and then a half inch is half of an inch. If we break that down even further, if we break it in half, again, that's a quarter of an inch. If we break the quarter of an inch in half, we have an eighth of an inch. And if we break the eighth of an inch into half, we get a 1/16 of an inch. And if we break the 1/16th into a half, we get 1/32. So the smallest, tiniest lines on this particular ruler are 30-seconds. The next size up is going to be 1/16th. The next size after that is 1/8. The next size after that is a quarter of an inch. The next size after that is a half inch. So if we have, if we want to go to basically a quarter, we're here. Two quarters would be at half inch. So we would say half inch, not 2/4. 3/4 would be here at this point. We could go to eighths: 1/8, 2/8, 3/8, 4/8, 5/8, 6/8, 7/8, 8/8, all the way up to 1. So this runs the same with 16ths, 1 through 16. So 1/16th, or 1/16th, 2/16th, 3/16th, 4/16th, so forth on up. So let's start to look at measuring. So we're going to measure using our ruler here. Our top border is going to be a half inch. So that means we're going to go right here, right between 1 and go to the half inch right here. That's where our top border is going to be, and we're going to measure from the 0 point to that point 3 times. We're also going to do an inch border for the bottom, so we'd come to the 1 inch here, and that's going to be where we are going to place our ruler to get our 1 inch mark. And we're also going to do 5/8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5/8, which is just past the half inch mark. We're going to use that for our side borders. We're also going to need to know where the quarter mark inch is, which is here, because we're going to be putting quarter-inch borders between our 3-inch markers. We're going to use 3 inches here, and I'll go over this as I go. So let's get started on our page here. And here is our page. We are going to, as we work, we're going to be measuring from the top, and this will be the bottom of our page down here. I'll just mark this as bottom so you guys will know that this is the bottom of this. And these are going to be our sides. So this is right side, and left side is the opposite side, and then we have our top. So let's get started on measuring our first border, which is going to be at the top. So I'm going to move this down a little easier for you to see. Using that 0 mark, I'm going to put that right at the edge of my paper, and I'm going to mark a half inch point. Just one there. I'm going to slide the ruler down further, put it at the 0 mark, and then mark it at a half inch. I'm going to do that one more time because 3 points will help me make a straight line. Not 2 points, not 1 point. I need 3 points to actually get that straight line. That's in case if I was to actually mismeasure one of the points I would actually, it would tell me when I would lay the ruler down like this, I'd actually be able to see that the line is not, that one of the points is not lined up. Once I have this lined up, I'm going to take my pencil and I'm going to very, very gently just put a very light stroke on the paper. This way I can erase that point, or I can erase that afterwards. That's the same with the points. You're going to want to, when you put your points on the paper, make sure that they're very light. You only need a 2B pencil. If you have a 2H pencil, that's even better because it'll be easier to erase later. Okay? But since in class, we've only asked you to have the 2B pencil. I've got my 1/2 inch border. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do my bottom border. So I'm just going to reverse and turn the paper all the way around here so that I can do this a little easier for the video. And I'm going to line up my 0 mark with my edge of my paper, which for you would be this would be the bottom edge of your paper. For me, I've got a little bit bigger page here because I had a 14 by 17 sheet. So I'm going to mark a 1 inch point, another 1 inch point. Again, 3 points. I don't want just 1 point, 2 points. I want 3 points to be able to connect the dots. So then I put my ruler down, connecting those dots, just like this. And once it's in place, I'm going to take my I'm going to take my pencil, holding my ruler tight in place. I'm going to run that pencil very lightly down the page, just to make a nice line for my border. Okay. So now I have my 1 inch border and my 1/2 inch border on my page. I'm going to turn this and do one of the sides here. Going to measure from the line here 5/8. So to do this, I'm going to put my ruler at the 0 mark, then go 5/8. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5/8 is just past the 1/2 inch mark. So I'm going to put in 3 of those. And once I have all 3 of those in position, I am going to put my ruler down and very gently and very lightly put a line. Now, you do not need to connect the bottom border and the very top border. You can stop at the lines that you have already created for the 1 inch and the 1/2 inch. That way you have less to erase. I'm going to turn this around, do this again on this side. And once again, I'm going to find my my 0 position right at the edge of the paper. Mark this at 5/8. Mark it again at 5/8. If it helps you, you can always make marks on your ruler with your pencil to find that 5/8. So if you count down and you can't remember where to get that get the ruler put to, you can always write on, kind of make a mark on the ruler, and then you can go back with your eraser and erase it. Again, very, very lightly, just putting a line across the page to make my last border here. So now I have all my borders for my page. So when I look at this, I should be able to see I have an inch border at the bottom, 5/8 inch borders on the sides, and a 1/2 inch on the top. Now this is where it gets a little complicated and a little confusing for some people. So let me say that I'm going to explain this 2 ways so that you get, one may work better for you than the other. One way to do this is, and the best way, is to actually lay my ruler down, get it at the 0 position at the 5/8. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go down to 3 inches, and I'm going to mark it at the paper at 3 inches. And then I'm going to go down to 3 1/4 because I'm going to have that 1/4 inch border in there. So 3 plus 1/4. Now if I add 3 inches to 3 1/4, that's going to give me 6 1/4. So I would come up to 6 1/4 and mark 6 1/4. Then go another 1/4 of an inch to 6 1/2. And then and then add another 3 inches from 6 1/2. So 3 inches plus 6 1/2 would be 9 1/2. So I'm going to jump to 9 1/2, and then put a 1/4 of an inch. And then the rest of that from there should be I should have the rest of this should go directly to 3 inches. So I won't have to mark the next one. So I'm already at 3 inches there if I've done this correctly. I'll move the ruler down, and I'm going to show you the other way that you can do this. I don't like this way as much, and the reason why is you have to move the ruler. So you have to have a lot more space on your desktop for one. Two, you can also get this off a little bit by doing it this way. So I'm just going to go ahead and make my mark at 3, and then do a 3 1/4. And then I'm going to move the ruler to taking the 0 position and go to 3 inches and mark it and do 1/4 inch again. The reason this doesn't work as well is I'm moving the ruler instead of leaving the ruler straight in place, which means that I could, each time I move it, potentially get the markings off by just a slight bit each time. So this is not the best way to do this. So again, after I've got that 1/4 inch marked, I take this to the 0 mark here, put it down at, or I put another mark at 3, and then 1 at 1/4. Then I'm going to do this one more time because remember we do everything in 3s. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this the other way again because it's much faster and easier. I'm going to go to 3 inches, 1/4 inch, then to 6 1/4 and 1/4 inch, and then from 6 1/2 I'm going to go to 9 1/2 and then 9 1/4, and that should all line up. When I'm done with that, I'm going to take and I'm going to line up all of my dots so that I've made. So the first line of dots, this is going to create my first 3 inch squares, then my 1/4 inch border, and again, very lightly put these lines down because we are going to erase these lines once we are done with our pasting of our pieces onto the onto the page. So we've got our lines here. We're getting all lined up, and I can tell that this point is already off just slightly from from the other 2 dots. So that one in the middle there is off already by just a slight bit as I create this line for that 1/4 inch. So this is one of the problems with doing it when you move the ruler. It is much more accurate not to move the ruler at all and go with the opposite with the 3 inches, and then adding works much better. So I've got this, and there are my 1/4 inch. You can tell now there are 3 columns of 3 inches each. Next, what we're going to do next is we're going to go the opposite direction. So I'm going to turn my page so that this is easier to do. I'm going to be going this direction this time. So I'm going to put it up at the top border here, go 3 inches. I'm going to then go 1/4 inch. And then I'm going to jump that 3 inches again, so 6 1/4, and then 6 1/2. Now this bottom one is going to be 3 inches, so I don't need to go any further. So I'm going to move this ruler here 3 inches, 3 1/4 to 6 1/4 and 6 1/2, and those are the only 2 others that I need. I'm going to come down here a little bit further, and remember I have to have 3 dots to make a line. So 3 3/4 and 6 1/4 and 6 1/2. Once I have those, I can take my ruler and easily find those dots and make my line. Again, line those up, make my line, move this down at 3 inches, make my line, move it again, make my next line, just like that. And now I have 3 inch boxes all the way around here. So this is a 3 by 3 box. All of these are now 3x3 boxes. I know where the top and bottom of my page is, and because of the size of the borders, and I am set to go. This is now where we're going to actually paste our objects into. This is my finished page, and the one that's waiting for me to actually add my my artwork. I've got a 3x3 box here. And what we're going to do is, once we've arranged all of your 3x3s and gotten them into the best arrangement that we can, we're going to take our piece of artwork and we are going to glue this down. Now, the best way to do this is to actually have a scrap piece of paper. Let's get a scrap piece of paper here. We're going to take our scrap piece of paper and we're going to put our artwork down, facing down. And I'm going to grab my rubber cement. So this is Best Test paper cement. I'm going to take our paper cement, open it up, and I'm going to I don't need a lot on here. I'm going to get some rubber cement, and using our glue here, we're just going to go over the back and add a nice little thin layer to it. Once we have that, we're going to come back over here to our page and do the same thing. Now, rubber cement sticks best when they're both surfaces. The surface that we are putting our object on and our object itself are both wet with glue. So once we have this, we'll let it just kind of get there, just perfect. We can let it get tacky just a slight bit, and we're going to grab our piece of artwork here, flip it over, and very gently I'm going to make sure that I get the edges lined up. Once I have the edges lined up, I'm going to drop that in place. If I need to, I'll move it around until it's on there, and then very gently, trying to keep my fingers out of the glue, I'm going to put this down. Now, once it is down and in place, I need a rubber cement eraser. Now, this is a rubber cement eraser. What I'm going to do with this is I'm going to run it along the edge wherever I might have gotten any glue. And I'm going to pull that glue up so that I don't have any glue on my page. And if I got any glue on my artwork, I can pull it up too while I'm at it. Okay, so the whole idea is to pull that glue off the page and make it nice and clean. Once I have that glue off there, and once you have your glue off, our next step is to take our white eraser. Now, I want a very clean eraser. If I need to, I can take it over to just a regular piece of paper and just get it scrubbed off until it's nice and white. Once I have that done, I can then take it and I can erase the outside edges here to get rid of any of those borders. I can also, if I still have any pencil marks in my inking area, if I want to get rid of those pencil marks, I can also erase those pencil marks within the artwork itself, and that will actually create it to look a little nicer, and that will do that. If you have a brush, a big brush, or a brush that you can use to knock the but if you have a brush, it's better than doing this, because you can get rid of all of the stuff off of here without actually making maybe any prints with your hands or getting oils onto the paper. So a good way to do it is actually with a brush. But if you don't have a brush, just make sure that everything's cleaned up, that your borders are clean, and you are good to go. And that is how we are going to finish up our artwork and put it onto our Bristol board for our final part of our project. So if you have any questions, please contact me through my email address, and I will see you in class soon.